Hi, this is Matt from XL Pro PC, and today I'm going to be talking about virtual reality, what this means for your hardware requirements for your PC, what I think of the technology after experiencing it for the first time last week, and where I think it's going to be going in the future. So, as I've just said, I managed to get a go on this. You should probably be able to see a video of someone experiencing the VR technology that was set up for them, and the same one that I got the chance to have a look at. And if you haven't seen it already, well, my hand's not in view. It should just be below in the description, or just have a look back through the videos. It should be the last one I uploaded. And yeah, when you're in the IT industry and a new piece of hardware comes out, a new bit of technology comes out, we are naturally skeptical. You know, is it going to live up to the hype? Is it going to be pushed by manufacturers? Is it going to be pushed by the suppliers? You know, is it going to be well received by people who are actually buying this stuff? And when I got to try out the virtual reality headset, and it was this HTC Vive. I hope it's called Vive, or maybe it might be Vive. No, it's got to be Vive. But yes, I tried it out, and I was very impressed with it. What I think the virtual reality system does, the HTC Vive, what it does especially well is that when you've got the eyepiece on, when you've got the headphones on, you are totally engrossed in that world, and there is no buzzing phone going off unless you've got your phone in your pocket and it's on vibrate. You've got both hands holding the controllers, and you can physically walk around this little virtual environment. So, and the sort of the little games that have been produced. This is it. There was only sort of small games that we could have a go on. Literally just technology demos that have been produced to show off how it works, and potentially show off the flaws as well in some cases, which I'll come back to in a minute. So yeah, I forgot where I was actually, but I thought it was really, really good. There is an obvious flaw, but yeah, the games, as I say, they were small time games. They weren't full games. So what I'm going to be really excited for is when game developers start developing games to use this technology to its full extent. And yeah, I know. I was talking about the way that when you had the earphones and the headset on, you were totally encapsulated in this world that's been made for you on these programs. So, I think when you're looking at a screen normally, the problem is that there's so much things around you that can distract you, which means that you can't get fully integrated into the world that the game developer is trying to project onto you. But with the VR headsets and the headphones, I guess you could also use a surround sound system as well. With the headsets, I would think that would be a shame, if I'm totally honest, if you used a surround sound speaker system instead of a headset, instead of a surround sound headset. Because, as I say, I love the fact that once you put the headset on and you put the cans on, you were just in that world. There was no other distractions. It was just left to you to sort of really involve yourself in the world and become accustomed to it. And there were no distractions. There was no phones. You weren't worrying about your lights. If it was too bright, if it was too dark, or so. That's what I thought was really good about it. How it sort of sucked you in and made you part of the world that this person had designed and created. And yeah, so what I think the only sort of thing that's going to be a problem to this being mainstream at the minute is, one, people being able to get their hands on the technology. I think, as we all know, the Oculus Rift is really difficult to get hold of. I'm not sure about the HTC Vive, if that's going to be a problem to get hold of. I don't even know which UK supply is doing it at the minute, to be honest with you. I've seen a few people. I think it's on later this year, maybe, but yeah, I don't know who is supplying that in the UK. How many are coming into the UK? What sort of price that's going to be? Even I don't know. I mean, maybe it'll say on here. No, I'm not sure. Yeah, it's still to be updated, but I'm assuming that it's going to be a fairly hefty price tag. If you want to upgrade your machine to get it VR ready, you are going to need a minimum of GeForce GTX 970, which is £259 recommended retail price. So you might be able to get it a bit cheaper that, but you're going to need at least the 200 quid graphics card, £200 graphics card to get that system up and running, and something, probably an i5, I would think, to enable to get that working how it should do without dropping any frames or anything like that. So what we're probably going to see in my industry is that, you know, people might get these bigger sort of graphics cards. So yeah, you probably can't see that, but that's the minimum you need to spend, that 259. Then there's the next one up from that to run it is a 429 and 549. But yeah, I'll post a link to this page here, which sort of shows you all of the GeForce, the sort of NVIDIA technology that's behind it. It's very complicated. All I know is that it needs these massive requirements to run it. But as far as the technology goes, it's all very clever stuff. How it makes it work, and you know what? I think it's going to be absolutely awesome when it comes out. I really do. And it just needs the proper support from software developers, game developers to make this into a reality. And as a gamer myself, what I don't want to see is just, and I think people have seen it with 3D films, people just create something in 3D for the sake of it, you know, without actually maybe understanding the technology or really sort of honing your skills to make it really great. You know, they'll throw a bit of a 3D element in every now and then, and just for the sake of doing it. Don't. My advice to game developers: don't do it for the sake of doing it. Do it because it's going to be cool. Do it because you have a great idea and it would work fantastic in VR. And yeah, don't take the piss. So, when I had to go with the VR, there is one flaw that I would say at the minute. Now, I don't know if this was because of the controllers that were on the Vive, or maybe that there's going to be something else, some more. These were the controllers here. You get two of them. Can't really see because my head's in the way. But yeah, you get two of them. And let me just go back to that one there. Go back. And basically you get two sensors with it. So you can set up basically a room size, because when you're using this, as you can see in the video that I've already done, you can walk around this virtual room. You can duck, you can, you know, when you move your controllers, the controllers can move on the screen. But you are limited. There is a virtual wall sort of all around you from these sensors. So if you, on the tech demos that I was playing on, if you got close to this wall, there would be a mesh wall that would come up and stop. I mean, they say basically the person that was demoing this said basically that is to stop you bumping into a physical wall if you're getting a bit too much into the game. You know, that mesh wall is necessary to kind of stop that. And I think on the games that I was playing on this machine, the controllers were there to just sort of shoot or select. You could when you held it in your hand, let me see if I can get your hand on screen. You know, you could flick it to do certain things, and when on one of the games it was a shooting game, so there's little triggers on the bottom of that thing, and you could actually get a shield out by going like that to bring a shield out. So I thought that, you know, that was good use of the technology. You know, that you're actually having to physically throw your hand over to get the shield out. But my worry is that with this mesh virtual grid, this virtual wall, and if the controller isn't right, you're not going to be able to do 3D shooters in them unless you are doing it House of the Dead style, where the computer sort of moves you into another room, you shoot the bad guys, and then it sort of, you just get a view of you moving out. You don't actually physically move. The computer sort of moves when you've cleared a room. So, I mean, you know, that to me would be really restrictive. What I would prefer is if, you know, you had like a Nintendo Wii style nunchuck where you could, you know, you could move around, move yourself through rooms. You know, as I say, I'm not sure how that would work. You know, but what I don't want to do is for all this technology to come round, and then you're stuck within four walls. You know, that to me would absolutely, that would not make sense to me if there was just four walls and you could only just move around in those four walls. You know, there's got to be a free running element kind of to it. Obviously, you are restricted because of, you know, if I was to try and play it in here, I would I would struggle in terms of, you know, you couldn't just rig up a whole room with these two sensor things here, and then expect to go on go into a virtual world where the space is actually, you know, the size of Colosseum. You know, that obviously there has to be this restriction in place, but, you know, I think game developers are going to need to be really creative with this. They're going to have to figure out, you know, how you can move, but still have the freedom to within this sort of mesh, this virtual wall, and the physical restraints as well of where you're actually playing this thing. And I've just thought now, I know this video is quite long, sorry, but there was another thing that may potentially annoy some people, or, you know, it might it will restrict gameplay, and that is the fact that behind here you'll see these little wires coming up here. That wire goes behind your head, drops down, and it basically trails on the floor. So you can see that it's quite a decent bunch of wires, and you'll probably see it on the video as well that I've done of someone playing on it. what I found when I was watching other people and when I was playing it as well, the wire would slowly get tangled around your leg if you were trying to turn around too much. So that is another one of these things that is gonna be a problem when you're playing. You know what? I was talking to the guy about it who's demoing this machine, and he was saying, you know, the amount of processing power that you literally have two. I think it's better than HD video signals going into this headset. So trying to get that to transmit wirelessly, that's, you know, plus the audio as well. Obviously, you've got you know, a 5.1 headset on, or we did in this demo. You know, to get that amount of information, and I mean, also there's a USB input. Well, I'm pointing in my hand. There's a USB input as well to sort of, because this is tracking your eye movements, how you're looking up and looking down and sides. So, you know, it's not just one little USB connection that's going down that cable. It's a USB connection. It's two, better than HD. I think it's 4K ready, 4K sort of two 4K video signals, I think, that are going down that. And, you know, I think from what he was saying, from what we were talking about, it's going to be a good while, in fact, before we're going to be able to stream this from your PC into the headset. So, you know, I think it will come, no doubt about it. We will get, I think the technology will be made so that we can do that. But, you know, it's going to take a long time. It's going to take a real long time for that to come. I would probably, at a rough guess, maybe 2 to 5 years, maybe, for that technology to become that wireless streaming technology to become available, where we can stream that amount of information into these headsets. And again, another thing that I've just thought about now as well, and another problem that is prevalent when you have a 5.1 system, these little sensors here, they need to be set up quite exactly. I mean, luckily there's only two of them. I mean, in a 5.1 system, you know, you need to have the correct angles for the sound to sound. You know, even on a 7.1 system, you need to have those speakers all around you in the correct angles. I mean, what I find is that not many people actually set up a 5.1 system correctly. If they've got kids, you know, that they've stuck a TV in a corner of a room and they just can't get the angles correct, you know. And I think, again, you are literally going to need to have a clear room so that you can put these things in the correct position, so that you have a decent area to work in, to have this virtual reality wall, these sensors of the walls, you know. And at the end of the day as well, this headset is not going to replace your main monitor either. You're still going to need to have a monitor. I'm guessing that not all games are going to use this technology either. You know, especially older games. Why would developers go back and patch like Battlefield 4, Battlefield 3 for this technology? It doesn't make sense. What I'm thinking is that the games will either support it or they won't. So in order for people to get excited about this technology, to really get behind it, and, you know, to make this a worthwhile venture, it's going to actually come down to the game developers. You know, and that's my honest opinion. It's going to come down to the game developers, how savvy they're going to be. You how creative they're going to be with this, and how much they take this up, and hopefully they don't see it as a fad. As I say, I really enjoyed the technology. I think it's going to be, I think it is fantastic. Apart from the niggles that I've picked up on here, I really do think that with the right game developer behind it and the right amount of titles for it, this could be life-changing for gaming. I really do. If enough people get behind it, it's going to be awesome. But yeah, game developers, it's really, it's up to you. You can either disown it, or you can run with the idea, or you can be creative with it. Or the success of this will be down to game developers producing decent games for it that makes use of the technology. This is it's when you step into this virtual reality world, it is almost like you are in the Matrix. Seriously, it's good. I mean, it is fake, but it just adds such another dimension to the game. It's difficult for me to explain without seeing it. I mean, maybe I could try and get a demo in here. Who knows? I would hope that I could, but I'm gonna have to, maybe I can pull a few strings. But yeah, this if you ever get the chance to do this, to have a go on it, line up. I think they said that they were getting about an hour and a half to 2 hour queue at the Gadget Show when they had this system up and running there. But seriously, it's there are some flaws. I think these will be ironed out. I think it could be such a massive thing for the gaming industry. And I'm really looking forward to the next step with this, the wireless headset. Where we don't have to have these sensors somewhere around a room. And yeah, as I say, it's going to be down to game developers to champion this, to make a point of making their games use this technology and to really get behind it. But you know what? If you need to speak to us about getting your rig ready for VR, if this has been exciting for you, if you've already tried it and you wanted to get your rig ready for this, please get in touch. We can see what we can do for you with graphics cards, or improving your rig so that it is VR ready. And I think I'm going to look now and see what I need to do to my rig to get mine VR ready. So, well, this has been a really long video. Thank you for watching if you watched it all the way through. And hopefully we can speak to you soon. Thanks very much. Bye-bye.